Hey everyone, Pugs here with 2 new reviews for y'all. Today I'm covering Snowball Effect and one Krabs Trash. With Snowball Effect, I suppose that it's pretty fitting that I'm reviewing this episode now, given that it's winter up here in the northern hemisphere. Though, where I'm at, temperatures are pretty mild due to a little thing called climate change. And one Krabs Trash, well, that episode doesn't really have any particular relevance to right now that I can think of, but I'm sure a critique of greed and grave robbing will always find relevance in this world, as long as it is the way it is. As always, I want to say thank you to everyone who's been watching, liking, and commenting on these videos. I especially like comments because it's fun interacting with y'all, but really any attention that my videos just get warms my heart. And with all that said and done, let's just get right into it. Our first episode of today's video is Snowball Effect, an episode that's best watched in winter weather, as I alluded to in the intro. Especially the end of the episode, it gives me such warm and cozy feelings. Kinda reminds me of a few weeks ago when it was bitterly cold outside and my poorly insulated apartment was cold as shit. If y'all do not have insulated sweatpants or a wearable blanket, I highly recommend both. Those basically save my soul. Alright, let's just get started on this thing for real. I like that the explanation for the winter weather Bikini Bottom in Snowball Effect is that a glacier has drifted over Bikini Bottom. I know nothing about ocean science, so that makes enough pseudoscientific sense to me. As the beginning bit of the episode carries on, we get a nice appearance of Realistic Fishhead, who is a character that I'm surprised I haven't commented on up until this point, or at least I don't remember doing so. I love Realistic Fishhead. I think it's hilarious that in this fully animated show we have a cutout of a real tuna fish with a flapping mouth. And the fact that he's one of the main reporters we see in Bikini Bottom is funny too. I don't know why, just making him a reporter is humorous to me. Moving on, I love seeing all the fun that our favorite characters have in the snow. Well, I suppose that not everyone has fun. Mrs. Puff simply blows off her car, covering poor Fred, and Plankton gets literally crushed under the snow. But in that last case, that's just payback for Plankton's hubris and megalomania. Or should I say Nope, not even gonna make that joke. I won't sink that low. I'm glad that SpongeBob at least has fun in the snow, though, because it's adorable to see his excitement. And Gary is so cute in his little hats. While the introduction of Snowball Effect isn't particularly funny, that's okay, because it wasn't trying to be, and is entertaining regardless because of this relatively new environment that we're seeing. Snowball Effect is one of those episodes that takes place in a single location, and almost entirely during a single event, so I don't mind that the episode takes its time setting up the context a bit. As I mentioned before, one thing I like about Snowball Effect is all the cozy imagery it provides. It's a small detail that has no real bearing on the episode, but the sheer coziness exuded by Squidward's first scene, and by the last scene of the episode is just amazing. Makes me want to bundle up and drink hot chocolate by the fire immediately. While my apartment doesn't have a fireplace, we do have hot chocolate. Maybe I'll make some later. Anyway, everyone's winter outfits, well, I guess just SpongeBob and Squidward's, are cool too. I like when shows do stuff like that, like characters change up their outfits. SpongeBob SquarePants does it so infrequently, so it's neat to see it here. I'd say the most common change-ups in this show are the addition and subtraction of SpongeBob and Squidward's work hats, and the karate gear that SpongeBob and Sandy wear. In general, though, our characters don't change their outfits very frequently. Poor Squidward is immediately roped into SpongeBob and Patrick's antics once he gets that lemon juice in his eye. And honestly, I relate. I, too, am startled by the loud conversations of my neighbors. Though, I've never gotten lemon juice in my eye because of it. Either way, I feel him when he gets upset at the noise. This episode reminds me a lot of Squidville in that Squidward dismisses a game SpongeBob and Patrick are playing as childish before getting in on it himself. You know, it also reminds me of Idiot Box and The Paper too, as Squidward starts embracing his childish side. Well, I guess he doesn't quite do that in The Paper, but whatever. This is a common refrain in the show anyway. Squidward brushing off a bit of his grumpy exterior to act childish, so it doesn't surprise me. It's a tried and true plotline. SpongeBob and Patrick's snowball fight is entertaining to watch, from Patrick's failed attempts at making snowballs, to SpongeBob's declaration of war, to the slow-mo shot of Patrick getting pelted, and to my favorite part, which is Patrick banging on Squidward's door, choking before swallowing all the melted snow. The back and forth between Patrick and Squidward is pretty funny, as is the voice acting for Patrick in general. Things get even more entertaining when Squidward gets involved. It's a bit slow at first, when Squidward tries to get SpongeBob and Patrick to start their snowball fight again, but the whole playing pretend sequence is pretty funny. Once it's Squidward versus SpongeBob and Patrick, though, things get pretty good. You know you're acting pretty crazy when SpongeBob and Patrick think you're going too hard at a snowball fight. I love that Squidward ended up making a snowball with his clarinet in it because it's funny and it raises so many questions. Like, where the hell did he get his clarinet from? And it also shows us just as much as we're being told that Squidward is getting too carried away, so it's some good writing in that regard. I love how Squidward slowly gets more and more into the snowball fight, becoming increasingly paranoid. His whole military speak about a simple snowball fight is hilarious, and I love the visuals of him making his fort. I don't know, they're just satisfying. I also really like the ending of the episode, with this tree appearing out of nowhere just to be Squidward's nemesis. I wonder what happened after the episode cut to black. How long did Squidward stay up in his fort? Hopefully he didn't get shot by a certain bearded man. I really like that Snowball Effect. It's just such a fun episode that feels like 11 minutes of childhood. Not just because it's SpongeBob SquarePants, but because of its featured topic of fun in the snow. When I was a kid, I used to have snowball fights and I made forts and snowmen and snow angels and all of that. Nowadays, I don't do this as much because I'm older, I'm constrained by the limits of free time that I have now, and also there's less snowstorms. I'm not going to dwell on that though, so let me just say that last month I did make a cute little snowman. Anyway, this episode just feels very joyful and I like that. It's also a very funny episode, which of course earns it a lot of points with me. It has slow moments, but I find it to be largely pretty enjoyable, and I love all the effort and details that went into the backgrounds in this episode. It's a very atmospheric episode, which y'all know, I love that. So, Snowball Effect is yet another good addition to my amazing tier, where it comes in with a score of 9 out of 10. Next up, we've got One Krabs Trash, which is a great example of Mr. Krabs at his cheapest, or one of his cheapest appearances to this point at least. Grave robbing is pretty low, but I know that some would argue that he's done worse. Mr. Krabs is exceedingly lucky that the people of Bikini Bottom aren't the sharpest tools in the shed, because in real life there's no way he'd be able to get away with these quick bucks. Or maybe not. Many people in real life don't have a lot of sense either. Well, either way, it's fun to see Mr. Krabs be a scammer anyway, so let's talk about this episode, where he's just a big huge scammer for at least half of it. One Krabs Trash starts off with Mr. Krabs setting up his yard sale, which I thought it was funny that in order to have this yard sale, Mr. Krabs literally took other people's garbage. Also, side note, even though I'm saying yard sale, I always call these things garage sales, just one of those US regional differences. After some scamming, SpongeBob and Patrick come up to the sale, where after a nasty image of Patrick licking a lollipop with underwear on it, ew, SpongeBob buys the iconic soda drinking hat. Now, I gotta ask, do they make those in real life? And if so, where can I get one? I'm pretty sure these types of hats do exist, but I wouldn't buy one for the single reason that it probably would not be able to fit over my hair, which is why I don't wear hats. Anyway, I love how excited SpongeBob is over his little hat. He's so adorable with it. And later in the episode, when he's playing with it by like blowing bubbles, I thought I was gonna explode over the cuteness. But also, that was a very genius way to use that hat. Like, SpongeBob is an innovator. Of course, by then, Mr. Krabs has realized the true worth of the hat, and so he tries to get it from SpongeBob to no avail. I love the visual gag during that part of Mr. Krabs' drool being enough for a guy to row a boat in it just to give Mr. Krabs a higher bid. And SpongeBob is such a king in this episode, taking that girl comment in stride. Yes, SpongeBob, you are a pretty girl. And F that mailman for being judgmental. Sometimes people need to tell each other that they are beautiful. And I'm mostly joking. I'm not about to get mad at a cartoon gag. Let's be serious. The next ploy Mr. Krabs uses to try and get the hat back is a bit of a smarter one, appealing to SpongeBob's easily scared nature. This scene is funny, and I like how SpongeBob ends up scared of the floating shopping list. Perfectly in character for our SpongeBob Scaredy Pants. Mr. Krabs plays a convincing enough ghost, but the real moral of this story is that SpongeBob needs better home security. Like, how is Mr. Krabs just able to fully open his window from the outside? Lock your windows, man! Finally, the trick that finally gets SpongeBob to relinquish the hat is Mr. Krabs saying it belonged to a dead guy. And of course, SpongeBob is too much of an upstanding citizen to simply keep wearing an unlawfully acquired hat. So he uses his toon powers for good and manages to get to the cemetery and back in like 5 seconds. For this scene, and really for the episode as a whole, I have a single question. Who came up with the name Smitty Warren Jagerman? It's so random, yet oddly specific. From here, One Krabs Trash really picks up. Squidward's cameo in this episode is a true highlight and is absolutely hilarious. And it's also very relatable. I truly feel you, Squidward. I really do. And once we get to the grave of the man who is number 1, sorry, his name is too hard for me to say on the first go for me to be saying it over and over. I like that the tombstone has boards painted on it because of the absurdly long name. And I love how, at first, the skeleton is just so damn chill. Like, it's funny to me. And even when he gets his friends to attack Mr. Krabs, he still kind of has a laid-back voice. Which, speaking of that scene, that was a very entertaining fight scene. And I'm a Dragon Ball fan. I know fight scenes. I love plugging my outside interest in these reviews. After Mr. Krabs manages to escape the cemetery after committing what I'd imagine to be quite a few crimes, what with the grave defilement and grave robbing, he returns to the land of the living just to find out that the hat is now completely worthless. And even better, SpongeBob's got a new hat that's worth even more. I like that we already know that the little sponge would never give the hat away for money, so those business people will definitely be leaving empty-handed. As they should. Some universal justice for everyone. I also love that Squidward gets to be the one to deliver the final nail in the coffin that is Mr. Krabs' misery in this episode, both getting his lick back and giving us the zinger to close this one out. One Krabs Trash is a pretty fun episode. I wouldn't really call it exceptional or anything, as it's got a few slow moments, and the jokes are a lot more understated and less plentiful in this one. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but it just didn't completely work in this episode's favor. Something I've noticed about One Krabs Trash as well is that this episode's kind of forgotten about a little bit. Despite the iconicness of "he was number one" and the lengthy absurdity of said number one's name. And I think that that's a shame. This episode should be talked about more. And I guess I'm doing my part in that now. So, One Krabs Trash is landing in my great tier, where it comes in with a score of 8.5 out of 10. As always, I'll be ending the video with some closing thoughts of mine. I don't really have many closing thoughts this time around, I've just got one main one. And that is, I am very well aware that the scene of Mr. Krabs digging up Smitty's grave is the basis of the very tired, unfunny joke about Nickelodeon defiling Steven Hillenburg's grave for money. The people who make this joke annoy me because they literally do not know what they're talking about. Other people have made posts, thread, video, etc. talking about how this opinion is wrong on multiple levels, so I won't reiterate that here. But I will say that people need to stop putting words in Steven Hillenburg's mouth immediately, and need to stop disrespecting the crew members working on newer SpongeBob projects. And I'll also be linking the only video I've ever liked that has used this joke because it clears that stupid-ass joke and the people who make it. And that's all I'm going to say on that. So, that's about it for this video, meaning I'm just going to end it here, and I'll see y'all in the next review.